Previously on Divorce Court.
Vaughn has a daughter that is not mine. She was born on one of our breaks.
My wife and my child's mother are the two opposing forces.
Why
with me
are
in the
we?
middle.
Why are we?
Because
he was lying to both of
that's
us.
not true. That is not true.
We got a hot mess going,
Yes, we do.
and I need
This
to
is
have
gonna end
all
up
the
good for
women
me.
in Mr. Brown's life together in one room so we can resolve this and figure out what's what, who's who, and get everybody going
Right.
on the right train.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Tamara Brown versus Vaughn Brown. This matter is reconvened because we have had other parties. Let me set the table for you momentarily. Mr. and Mrs. Brown, though married 21 years, have been separated for the past 4 months. His sister, Janine Brown, is here in the court. Also there is Kimberly Wright. How are you? This is the woman with whom you had a baby while you were on a break from Mrs. Brown. I'm going to start with you, Mrs. Wright. Ms. Wright, why don't you tell me what the situation is and why you feel your child is not treated well by Mrs. Brown?
Because she carried the hostility on from me and carried on to my child.
Give me some examples.
She never liked me at all. She thought I was the cause of her and Vaughn breaking up or whatever, but I didn't know anything about her at all. She knew more about me than I did about her. But anyway, the child was born, and she never liked my child. She hated my child, she hated me, she hated anything that he represent with somebody else because she didn't have that child first.
Mr. Brown, you do see what your implication in this matter. How have you handled this matter? You created it.
Now,
so how have you handled it?
I admit, Your Honor, I did not handle it the best way. It should have probably been handled, but I did the best I could with the limited knowledge I knew at the time. Meaning now, my wife had brought up I would secretly talk with her, excuse me, to leave a room. That's not true. The reason why I will leave the room or talk to her at a different time than in the presence of my wife is because they both will hear the other one over the phone. And I'm in the middle, and the animosity is coming from both ends, honestly. And I'm trying to middle, trying to referee between my wife and Miss Wright in order to see my kid. And I'm trying to be less conflict as possible, so it just worked out better for me to talk to her out of her presence.
Now, they both agree that that's not true.
that's not
Mrs.
true.
Brown, I thought they would never agree on anything. Mrs. Brown, why don't you tell me what you believe he was doing with respect to the two of you?
I believe he was doing what he did from day one. He would tell Kim one thing and he'd tell Tamara one thing. So therefore, when he's on the phone with Kim, I'm saying stuff like, that ain't what you just said.
It depends what we're talking about.
Ms. Wright, is that accurate? That he was playing you against one another?
I don't think he was playing it. I was just calling to ask, like, when is you gonna send your child some money? When is you gonna do something for your child? And he was like, well, I ain't got it right now. I'm gonna call you later. I'm gonna send you something in a couple months, a couple weeks. Or I'm gonna send you this, I'm gonna send you that. And I was like, I'm just sick of the promises
So, okay, there's
of
the
different
conversation right
things
there. So,
that
okay,
he was talking about. But it was never no talking, no talking about me and him getting together. No, that was never not on the option of me and him
Nobody
talking.
said that.
All was talking
Mr. Brown,
pertaining to.
She may not verbalize that, but that was the attitude in the room. When she knew I was on the phone with Miss Wright, it's always the attitude was there's something going on. Why is she calling you for money? She just called you last week. She just called you 2 weeks ago. She just called you last month. That'd be the argument we having. So now I'm arguing with her about talking to her about money from a kid.
Okay,
and it became a circus. And
I got you. I got what happened,
I'd
Mrs.
like
Brown.
to clear my name.
Go ahead.
I have told Vaughn since day one to go, and you tell the truth, to get his child, to be in his child's life, because
Girl,
when
why
she
you
get
playing?
Thank you. Vaughn, what have I said?
You playing?
Okay.
What have I said? I said because when she get a certain age, she's only gonna know what her mama tells her. Have I not told you that?
Now,
Okay.
Girl, please.
Now.
What is your understanding about her treatment and her actions towards Ms. Wright's child?
She treats her daughter with hatred. She hates her being around, and she disrespected her verbally. She calls her names. When we got there, she didn't speak to none of us. She did say hi to my husband, went in their daughter's room and said, get this B stuff out of my daughter's room. This is your daughter.
Stop.
Get her stuff out of here.
I did.
He take care of her child, that's not his. But when he take care of his, it's a problem.
That's
He
right.
can't send no money. She talking mad
He don't
cash
take
about
care
it.
of my child. Vaughn has not taken care of my child, and that's one of our issues.
Hang on, let her finish and I'll get to you. Go ahead.
That's one of our issues. It's been many a times with Jamia growing up. I wanted to call Kim and tell her she got off good because I'm arguing at him.
You never said that.
No, I didn't say that. I said that.
You
I
ain't
didn't
never said
say-
send
I
her no
didn't say
money.
that.
You ain't never say take care of her.
I have
you
always
prevented
told
that.
him.
You prevented that. That's what you did.
no.
That's what you did.
See,
I got
he
it.
said- he has
But you
her-
set up the tent.
He did.
If he set up the tent,
You said this is the
Your
circus.
Honor, can I just say this?
Stop, hang on. This is the circus, but you set up the tent.
Can I just say
so,
this?
So you cannot just point at them and say wrong, wrong, wrong when you made that happen.
that's
with
right,
your
Vaughn.
actions.
You ain't
Your Honor,
innocent to
can I
this
just
because
say
it's
this?
your child. You never
And
took care of her.
he needs to let him know this. You really do. There has been times I told Vaughn to send Jamia money.
No,
Have
you
I
didn't,
not?
girl.
Okay,
Stop.
over
You don't
the
know.
years.
I have. Hold on, stop.
Those
Let her
clothes
finish.
that you threw out of the window when she was born,
Save those tears.
I bought
Please.
them.
Stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I bought those clothes she threw out of the window when she was a baby. When she needed diapers, Vaughn didn't have the money. I bought those diapers.
Girl, you lying.
When his mother passed, he didn't have the money to buy her clothes. I bought her clothes from head to toe out of my pocket. She didn't like what we bought, so when she came back, she had something else, so he didn't like it. What did we do, Your Honor? We went to the store and I rebought her another outfit.
The outfit she got for my mother's funeral, Kim didn't like it, and Kim gave her some old.
I bought it.
Okay,
Some
let me just say, I know this
I
is
never prevented
I get
him from
that.
his
Let me
child.
just stay here 1 second on that, because this is one thing we can agree on. Did she buy your, whether you liked them or not?
I don't know if she bought it or not.
She was going to her funeral.
Who bought it?
I don't
Okay,
care
the wife
who
bought it. The
She
wife
said,
did buy it.
At some point, we got to be okay for those children. At some point. And if we can't even honor the facts that occur, we can't go around calling everybody fake news.
Yeah.
Right.
We got to know
That's
what the
what I
news
mean
is.
by he's not
so
telling
we can
her.
have a place to start. Do you see what I'm saying?
But if the
He's
disrespect
telling her
is there
one
all
thing and
along, you
telling
can't
me
go
one
nowhere.
thing.
and that's why I'm saying we can't go anywhere with the respect unless we can agree on the facts.
Yeah.
And that's one fact we can agree on, is it
Yeah.
not?
Right,
We're
right.
gonna set that right there,
Right.
and then I'm gonna bring it back later on.
She didn't want her eating none of her food. She was looking at her nasty. She wouldn't speak to her. She would not talk to this child. And she set the whole house atmosphere for everybody. And his daughter would constantly come talk to me. When I leave, she want to come with me. She don't like being there by herself because she's really nasty to her.
Now, Mr. Brown, tell me about the atmosphere in your home when Ms. Wright's daughter is, when your daughter with Ms. Wright is there.
Okay. She was 11 the first time she come down. I was ecstatic. I want her to stay with me for a year just to get to know her, she could get to know us. So she come down, and it was tension from the first day. It was, I can't really put it into words, the atmosphere in
Were
the house.
you there, Ms.
Yes.
Brown? Can you put it into words? Women can usually put it into words.
She didn't want her eating none of her food. She was looking at her nasty. She wouldn't speak to her. She would not talk to this child. And she set the whole house atmosphere for everybody. Even my children was like, what's wrong? I'm like, we'll talk about it another time. Everybody just be polite, stuff going on. And his daughter would constantly come talk to me. When I leave, she want to come with me. She don't like being there by herself because she's really nasty to her. She's like, Auntie, she wanted me to take her home with me. She wanted me out of there so bad to take his daughter back to Detroit. I said, baby, I can't. I got to give your father opportunity to have this time with you. Well, you know, his wife ain't going to like that and this and this. So I said, baby, I got to go. So I left. She wanted to come. I said, no, you're going to have to stay. But she is so nasty and disrespectful. It is unbelievable.
Ms. Brown, and I know you're hurt. He did a horrible thing to you. Can you even see in your worst moments that maybe you took it out on that child unintentionally, inadvertently?
I think so, Your Honor.
I do too.
I think so.
I
don't think it was conscious.
I think it was.
I don't think it was conscious.
I think it was conscious, and he wasn't there to protect her.
Why do you think it was conscious?
Because she didn't like her. My child was in her daughter's bed. When she came in the daughter's room, she started going off. I was on the phone with her, and she was like, "What you doing in my daughter's bed?" And Jamil says, "I'm sleeping. Get up out of my baby's bed right now. I bought this bed. I got this bed. This is my daughter's bed, and you don't have a right to let." And then she said, "Didn't I tell you to get up out this bed?" And I said, "Jamil, what's going on? What's going on?" He was on the phone with her at the same time. She was on the phone with him. I was on the phone with my daughter. She was on the phone with him. He heard the whole thing, and if you lie, Vaughn, I'll never forgive you. You better tell the truth.
Okay, next, Mr. Brown, I'm gonna get your version of the story.
I said, I know why you upset with me because I wasn't in your life.
She was
Forgive
full of
me.
hurt.
But I tried, but your mama wouldn't let you.
She was full of hurt.
I told her that.
Let me ask you this. Have you allowed him to participate meaningfully in his daughter's life?
Do you think step-parents love their spouse's kids as much as their own? Tell us what you think at facebook.com/Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back.
Mr. Brown, you were on the phone with the parties involved. Tell me what your version of that event is.
Okay, from what I can gather, from what I heard, Ms. Wright is painting a polite picture of my daughter. They both was irate at that time. My wife and my daughter was both being irate toward each other. And this started at 11 in the daytime. It went on until almost 3 o'clock that afternoon. I was on the road. I'm 3 hours away. At my first stop, the phone ring, get your daughter. She been disrespectful. I hear my daughter on the other end being belligerent, disrespectful. So I'm calling both parties while I'm trying to make my deliveries. And then in between calls, she called. I'm like, oh God, what's going on? So she called and it kind of threw me off because she was more calm than they were.
We're there. What do you have to say?
What happened was him and his daughter had a talk. He was trying to talk to her and see where her feelings were about him. And she was being very, very disrespectful.
Because she was mad at me for not being in her life.
Right.
She was angry. She
Come
was full
on.
of her.
Nuh-uh.
She was.
I told her.
She was full of
I
hurt.
know why you mad with me.
Fine.
I said, I know why you upset with me because I wasn't in your life.
She was
Forgive
full
me.
of hurt.
But I tried, but your mama wouldn't let you.
She was full of hurt,
I told her that.
and she was going off on him, and she was telling him, I don't care, I don't care, to the point where she said, can I get back to watching my movie? And he said, no, you gonna listen to me. And she went to stand up to get out of the chair to go watch her movie. My husband was pretty much straddling her and holding her by her wrist to hold that child in the chair while he was talking to her. So he took the pin out the grenade, to the point where he held her so long, they was just sweating. It was just a standoff.
Let me ask you this. Have you allowed him to participate meaningfully in his daughter's life?
Of course I have.
No!
But he won't do it. He don't do it. In 17 years, count on his hand how many times he did
I called
anything
her.
for
I said, I want to get moved for the summertime. You got to talk to my auntie. Why you got to talk to your auntie, man? That's my kid, man. Can't do all that.
No, you ain't asked me that. No, you didn't.
Every year.
It don't have nothing to do with
Every
it.
year.
No, you didn't.
This is what I mean by he didn't set it straight. He didn't tell her what was. He made promises that the girl could come up, and then he'd be like, "Oh, I forgot," or "I didn't have the money," and she wouldn't come up. So this particular time that he
Vaughn
did
is
say that she was
a practical liar, and that's what he is, and she protects him because that's all they do for each other.
I'm gonna sit back and then I'm gonna say something.
What kind of relationship would you want with your stepchild's parent? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram at Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back.
It ain't gonna fix everything, but I wanna change the trajectory of this entire relationship. Because what's happening is we have a bunch of adults behaving badly, behaving how they, emoting constantly without stopping to think, I'm going to have to suck a few things up because I've done a few things wrong and I've got children involved in this matter and I've got to do things differently. I also want to talk to you about women on women. And it happens a lot in my community where we are in circumstances where we control so little that we don't have any money, we don't have the man, we don't have a job, we don't have anything going on, and the only thing we can exercise control over is the volume of our mouths and the young people that we have. So what we do is we take that and oppress each other with it. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mr. Brown, you started all of this mess. So every time the mess starts, you can't get angry, you've got to get involved, but you have to stay calm and you have to suck it up because it began at your door. But every time you women get involved in this, and the easiest person to get mad at is another woman, you got to stop and rethink this sucker because it's not gonna work. She's hurt because you knocked her up and walked off. That's what that is. She feels bad. She feels used. She feels taken advantage of. She feels like she doesn't get enough money. She doesn't get enough time. She may have kept her daughter away from you. If you did, bad on you. Because your daughter deserves a relationship with him. Yes, so she will not keep running after other dudes that are going to knock her up and walk away because that dude wasn't there. And you don't have the right to put her in that position. That's all I'm going to say to you. But that hurt you have to assuage. That hurt you have to acknowledge, and then you have to say, I'm done. Because I'm better than that. That's something I did a while ago, and that happened, and he ain't that important no more, no way.
That's right. I said
you know what I mean? And then you two need to make a point of making it right with one another. Because it's this knucklehead that started all that nonsense. You two women, he probably lied to you, and you're upset. And I bet you weren't quite right with that daughter because you were mad and she was mad. She was hurt. Yeah. Put yourself in her shoes. Put yourself in her shoes. But you make it right between the two of you because you got to direct that child and your other children. If you're mad all day, if you're angry all the time, the children that you raise, every epithet you hurl, every angry word you say teaches your children how to feel. We're gonna grow up in a tornado. Ms. Brown, you the last one. You the last one. He comes to you when he's charged up all these women. He's come to you when his situation went dangling about the town and didn't do the right thing. And he comes to you and tells you about this woman and that woman. You tell him, you be a man, handle your business. And don't get angry.
Oh,
you get calm. Don't get a tool with her. Don't get a tool with her. You be a peacemaker. Because we cannot survive in this atmosphere.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Your children will not survive in this atmosphere. And y'all got to make it right. Everybody's got a reason to be mad for the reason they mad about. But now that's over with. Now it's a new day. It's a new directive. Everybody apologizes for everybody for the wrong that they've done, and you move forward in a manner that the God I'm sure all y'all worship would be proud to call daughters. This matter is adjourned.
In court today, I feel like I was attacked. I did everything that I could do to make it comfortable. It may not have been as comfortable as they wanted it to be, but I hate no child. And when my husband fell short, I stepped up when it came to his child. That's about all that I can do.
Do I want to save the marriage? Yes. It's just what happens. Nothing, baby, that can be overcome. So yeah.
I don't want to save my marriage.